But one thing that I do want to know is MLB standings and how they're shaping up after the first couple months of the season. What has surprised you? What's disappointed you? Really anything that you guys want to get into right now. Cale, I want to go ahead and start with you.
So the one thing that really surprises me is the Seattle Mariners. They're putting up some fantastic numbers. Their record is – I can't remember their record off the top of my head. I'm going to have somebody look that up for me.
Give me a second.
But on Saturday the 16th, they played the Red Sox, who is obviously the hottest team in baseball right now.
Absolutely.
On both sides. Their pitcher, Wade LeBlanc, retired 22 straight batters. 22 straight. There's 27 outs in the game of baseball. He retired 22 straight. He averaged, 7.2, allowing 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 0 walks, tallying 9 Ks. The Mariners are actually 46-25. That may have changed since Saturday.
46-26 now. They're a game and a half back from Houston.
Okay, well the Houston too. They're on like an 11-game heater right now, so that's
they're coming fresh off a World Series.
Fresh off a World Series, and they're
so
putting
being
together.
Close to that is great for Seattle.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're Houston really didn't change their lineup or roster too much. No. They still got Carrera. They still got Altuve. They still got that big man. I can't remember what his name is. That DH. He's a behemoth of a human. He's an absolute unit. But going off of that, I want to get switching gears, and I want to stay in the NL Central because, with being in Champaign-Urbana, I feel like now almost the majority of residents that live here are NL Central fans, whether it be the Cubs or the Cards. There's a few White Sox fans in here, occasionally Yankees fans, but, Cubs and Cards fans outweigh those numbers.
I think it's about 44, 1%, and then 1% off.
Yeah, for sure. So this weekend, Milwaukee dropped a few. They dropped a few key ones. It's only June, so we can't really say key games yet because it's only June. Right. We're not even to the All-Star break yet. But one thing that Milwaukee did, though, they were tied as of last night. With the Cubs lost, I think they did.
Cubs are a half game back now.
They did regain the lead, even though the Brewers lost to the Phillies yesterday. Yep. They lost like 10-9 or something like that. But the Brewers made a lot of incredible moves this year, this offseason, with signing Christian Yelich, Lorenzo Cain, getting him the contract extension. They also reworked their entire bullpen, too. They got some decent bullpen pitching coming out of the Milwaukee Brewers bullpen. But, it all starts in baseball with your pitching and how well you guys are going to pitch. And that Travis Shaw, I think his name is, or Shaw, Andrew Shaw. Nah, he's the defenseman for the Hawks. He used to be. But anyway, I think his name's Travis Shaw. He's pitching phenomenally when he comes in to relieve, and I think he's only 22 years old. Just like Jack Flaherty used to be. Or Jack Flaherty, the pitcher for the Cubs or the Cardinals last night. He's a decent pitcher. He's young. He's got some talent, but he's just a young junk baller. He doesn't have very much velocity. He was throwing well in the upper 90s, 6s, but that's only because he's 22. He's got that.
Real quick, I just got an update on my phone. This is just a quick NBA update. The Raptors are looking to trade anyone on the roster for a top 10 pick. Mushai Ujiri is dead set on getting University of Kentucky Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah, that'd be a
fill
solid
in their 3 spots.
Yeah.
So now that I say Kostas, I guess we're looking to move up in the draft. I just wanted to say that Raptors, no one is safe on the roster. They want a top 10 pick in the draft.
For sure.
There you go.
But yeah, the Cubs card series, obviously people are around here saying that it was a major series. Well, when you're in June, you're not even halfway through the season. So to me, that's not an important series. Now, it is an important series for the Cubs to win because that put them back in first. They've been teetering that
put them 3.5 games up on the Cardinals too.
Yeah, yeah.
So it gives them a little bit of breathing room.
But as you know, and I know, the Brewers are going to fall off after the All-Star break, statistically speaking.
Yep.
They have the last 3 years. So I'm not really concerned about the Brewers, staying up there on the top of the NL Central.
They've been pleasantly surprising so far, leading the way almost the whole first half of the season. But yeah, statistically they will fall off. They're good for it. They fall off almost every year, and I'm not saying they'll fall off greatly. Like I said, they've been a surprise. They've been really pleasant to watch. It makes the NL Central competitive, not between 2 teams, but 3 teams.
3,
right. And if you do expect them to fall off, I mean, if the Cubs and Cards are right there with them, then you're in good shape. I mean, even if they got a half game, 2 games up on you, you're looking good.
Oh yeah,
right. Oh, for sure. The Cubs have been a half a game back, or at least game back or a half a game back for the last couple of weeks now. So they're hanging right there with them. It's just that
they were even up at one point, like a game or something.
For a day. For like a day or two.
And you also have to keep in mind, I just want to touch on something real quick, is that if the Cubs and the Cards and the Brewers are all fighting for that top spot, I mean, this is good news for the Pirates.
For the Pirates,
they're 6 or 7 games back right now.
They're seven
games
back. This is good for them to try and get back in the race because, like you said, the season's not even half over with, and they're still looking to get in it.
Right, absolutely.
And it's very possible that 3 of these teams could make the playoffs and get
no doubt
both of the wild cards coming from the NL Central.
So with that NL Central, at the end of the year, Tyson, and I'm going to ask Tyson first, Gavin.
Sure.
Tyson, who do you think is going to come out on top? And don't be biased because we're both Cubs fans, so we got to kind of keep that to a minimum. But who do you think is going to come out on top with the players and the potential and everything else accounted for it?
I say the Cubs, not to be biased, but our pitching has been not very good so far.
Right.
If our starting rotation can get their stuff together, Lester's 8-2 right now, couple no decisions. He's doing okay. But Kyle Hendricks, Q 5-6, 6-5, Chatwood's at 3-5. Mike Montgomery's at 2-2 as a starter, and Yu has been just.
Well, Yu can't stay healthy.
Yeah,
Yu's been on the disabled list
even
twice
when
now.
he was healthy.
And we're not even.
1-3.
We're just now a quarter of the way through the season, and he's been on the disabled list twice. Once with the flu, you can't really control the flu.
He's played 8 games total. So far.
And in those 8 games, how many no decisions does he have?
He had 4 no decisions, and he's 1-3 in the 4 that did.
That's bad.
Not good for $126 million.
$126 million is what we spent on him. Arrieta wanted $100 million, and now look what he's doing with the Phillies.
Yep.
We could have had Arrieta on this roster instead of Darvish, who stays healthy, takes care of his body, and he's still throwing heat.
I don't think that there'd be a question who's in first place right now.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
If we get what's Arrieta got 9 wins, 10 wins already.
Yeah, almost.
Add those to we're up 8 games on the Brewers.
Darvish doesn't even have a quality start.
No.
I mean, I don't get
the only win he has, it was a game that the Cubs put up like 10 runs in the first 2 innings.
And if he would have lost it, I probably would have was okay with this guy. Get him out. Okay, but anyway, off of that, I will. Since you touched on Mike Montgomery, he's normally a bullpen pitcher.
Yep, he's got 22 appearances this year.
He's coming out as a replacement while Darvish is on the DL.
Mm-hmm.
Being 2-2,
it's still better than Darvish.
Still better than Darvish. Still better than Chatwood. Chatwood is having a lot of control issues, a lot of command issues. I mean, he's throwing. If you look at it, if you could find, it'd be bad radio, but if you could find a spray chart online somewhere of Tyler Chatwood's pitches in the last like 4 or 5 games, you're going to go up in the strike zone, above batters' heads. They're going to be behind them. They're going to be down, bouncing before the dirt. I mean, he just cannot find the strike zone. And I don't know whether it's a mechanics issue, whether he's got something, physical bothering him or what.
I think it's being new team, big town. Lots of expectations coming from a championship caliber team. I think people want him to. It's a lot of pressure on him right now. I think he'll settle down after the break and start winning a couple more games.
That's one thing with Joe Madden though, is that he will get players accommodated. You just got to give him some time. Although I don't like the fact that he tweaks the lineup all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But moving on.
I mean, we may not like it, but I mean, if that's going to get you a championship caliber team or championship caliber tactics, I mean, he's been there before and they won him doing that kind of thing.
Yep.
So I mean, you can't change what's not broke.
Absolutely. So let's move on a little bit, Tyson. In your opinion, who do you feel like the best Cub is right now?
Best Cub, I got Javi Baez.
Solid choice.
Dude is playing outstanding. He's not even very big, 6-foot frame on a good day in his cleats. But he's leading the team in home runs. I think he's at 15 now, 14 right now.
14.
Playing outstanding defense. I think he's got 1 error on the year.
In those 14 home runs, he's got 46 RBIs to top of that.
Yeah, he's leading the team in RBIs.
46 RBIs.
Dude's playing outstanding right now. I think he's all around leading the team right now, especially with Chris Bryant in his slump. Hopefully he's coming out of that here, played well the last couple games. But right now I think Javi's kind of taking that team and he's trying to pull them up, lead them.
Javi's tagging ability is off the charts. He's so
Quickest
athletic.
dude
I mean, he's the best middle infielder we've had in a long time. And he has to stay here. We have to do whatever it takes for him to stay. He doesn't want to leave Chicago. Nope. He absolutely loves Chicago.
No, and that's what you want in a player if you're going to keep him.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely. All of these guys that are here love Chicago. They love the atmosphere. They love the manager. They love the front office. And it all starts with the front office. If your players can get along with that front office, unlike what Chris Sale did and ended up having to be traded out.
Yep.
Absolutely.
from the
Which
White
was such
Sox.
a disappointment for the Sox.
Chris Sale was such a dominant pitcher, and you threw in Katana within that.
Oh my God,
that was a dominant
He was
duo.
a top 10
Absolutely.
pitcher.
Yeah.
He was a top 10 pitcher almost every year he played. He just played for a crap organization.
And they wouldn't put anybody in there.
Yep.
Which
that
is terrible.
wouldn't help him out.
Now they got Jose Abreu and Yohan Moncada.
Yep.
Yohan Moncada's putting up some decent stats, but that's it. All they have is Abreu and Moncada, especially with Wellington Castillo going on the 80-day or getting an 80-game suspension for PEDs along with Robinson Cano.
Right.
That's another big factor.
Well, here's the thing: is they do have their guys in the minors right now.
Yes, they're
And
building up their farm
when
system.
they finally
like the Cubs
decide
did.
to bring them up, I think that they'll be in good shape as long as they still have those two guys on the roster.
They're
Abreu's-
still the third worst team in baseball. They're going to need a lot of help.
Well, I mean, just to be competitive. Obviously,
Right.
this isn't going to turn them into a
A
championship
World Series
caliber
team, yeah.
But
Maybe
it's-
not even a playoff team, but it gets them
No,
close.
but it could turn them into a top 15 team, which I would almost guarantee that they'd be the 15th best team in baseball after that.
Oh, yeah.
Right, yeah,
So-
they could be up there like the Cubs did it. They took the Cubs forever. When Jed Hoyer and Theo Epstein took over, they rebuilt that farm system. You know, in baseball, you have to have a solid farm foundation before you can bring your guys up. It don't matter how many guys you draft.
If you have a crap feeder system in the MLB, it screws you.
Yeah, you're not going to do anything.
You might be good for a year or two, but after your year or two's up, you run out of all that stuff at the
Absolutely.
bottom, and you just have nothing to fill
You
in
got
your
to treat the
holes.
MLB kind of like a high school system
Yep.
with freshman, JV, and varsity.
Yep, exactly.
You treat your freshman guys to prepare them for varsity. You give them 3 years. When time comes, they're ready to go.
Right.
So, back to Javi Baez. Let's get back on that real quick. In 243 ABs, the dude's got 39 runs, 62 hits, 11 doubles, 5 triples, 14 homers, 46 RBIs.
Yeah,
And
he's on pace for like 47 doubles and 14 triples or something this year and 30 home runs.
The only complaint that I have about Javi Baez is that 66 strikeouts.
Yeah.
He's got to tighten up that plate discipline. I mean,
He's
he
still
swings
young.
At,
He's still learning.
he swings at something that I couldn't even hit with a 9-iron. And then he'll swing at something that's 4 feet above his head. You know, he's just got to tighten that plate discipline up a
Right,
little
but see,
bit.
that's something I've noticed just from watching him. And I'm not a Cub fan.
Right.
But I've watched him before, and that's the one thing that comes with who he is that he will give you everything he has for any game,
Every plate
any
appearance.
dance.
Every play.
Okay.
And what sucks is that Javi took one in the elbow last night.
Yep.
He took a I think it was like a 97-mile-an-hour heater. It took in the elbow.
I think the X-rays came back negative.
It was just a contusion. But playing baseball for so
Sucks.
many years, you get hit in that elbow, and your whole lower arm down to your hand just goes numb. I mean, you can't feel it. You don't regain that feeling. So that sucks. I hope he gets back, pretty quickly because he is helping the team a lot.
One thing I wanted to finish with that is that the way that he plays with his heart, he'll give you everything he has. What comes along with that is he believes he can hit anything that's thrown at him.
Oh, yeah.
That's why
There's
he
no
swings at
doubt
everything.
about
He's
that.
got the
And
confidence,
that's the one
the
issue that you
swagger.
have is you love a guy that plays with
Yeah.
heart, but when you have that, I would rather have a guy play with heart and bring him back than someone I have to push to get that out of him.
Baez,
Exactly.
when he strikes out, probably 70% of the time, 75% of the time, I'll say he's striking out swinging. He's
Oh, yeah.
never striking out looking.
absolutely.
No.
And if
never.
you're going to strike out, even on that pitch may be 4 foot in the dirt, strike out swinging. Seriously, swing at it. And managers, everybody would love to watch you sit there, strike out swinging and strike out looking. That's what they tell you in little leagues. But moving on, I'm going to tell you about my favorite Cub right now, the one who's producing the most. And that's going to be Jason Hayward. Jason Hayward right now is just putting up unreal numbers. Everybody's kind of sleeping on him. When the Cubs acquired him, they weren't acquiring him based on his bat. He's never. He's had an average bat per se, but he's like a 4 or 5 time Gold Glover, and he's 26.
Yep.
Somebody who's won 4 or 5 Gold Gloves already, and is being 26 years old. The defense is what amazes me. The defense will always top my plate appearances any day.
Well, you need a guy that's he'll put his body on the line for you.
He
That's what
lays
does.
out every play.
Absolutely.
And
He
he's
made
got
that really nice catch last night.
Yes,
He
diving,
laid out
grabbing,
to
it didn't even
steal
look-
Yachty's.
didn't even look like he did anything.
Nope.
Just flawless, smooth, and he flows.
Especially when it makes it look effortless.
But last year, he had 126 games. He had 481 plate appearances, 11 home runs, 59 runs scored, 59 RBIs with a 259 average. That's in 481 plate appearances. 2018, he's had 204 plate appearances. About half. We're close. With 4 homers, 25 runs, 30 RBIs already, batting 269 through 52 games.
So it's increased from last year, and that's what we want.
Exponentially.
Absolutely. Well, and if he's able to keep that through the season,
yeah.
that's what you expect.
His swing somehow was so messed up when he got here that they had to
They
completely
spent
rework
3
it.
years reworking that
But I
swing, and
think
it's finally getting there.
Whatever they did was just they hired Chili Davis as their batting coach too. That's a big hire.
Yeah.
But whatever they did with his swing is just they need to keep it that way. He just needs to keep driving the ball because he's a big body. I mean, he's a big frame.
Oh, he's a big old bear.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He's huge.
6'8",
6'8", like 230, and he's strong.
Yeah,
strong.
And that's what I wanted to add too. That's my favorite thing about him is that he's just a big body.
He can hit the ball.
He's a shade thinner than LeBron.
Yeah.
He's basically LeBron out here playing baseball.
Absolutely.
He can hit the ball oppo with ease.
Oh, absolutely.
KB can't even do that. KB can't hit oppo. KB can't hit a home run right now. He can't buy one, although he did hit one this World Series, but he just can't hit for whatever reason. He needs to get out of that slump because he's one of our top-tier batters. But moving on from that, we talked about the Cubs. The Cardinals, I'll talk about the Cardinals more as the season goes on when they're not playing the Cubs, basically because I'm a big Cubs fan.
Oh, you talk about them now. They lost.
They lost, for sure.
Yeah.
But I want to get on to the potential free agency right now. Who do you feel like is the biggest free agent?
Right now, for me, it's got to be Manny Machado. There's been talks about him all year.
Manny Machado may end up in Chicago.
Talks about coming to the Cubs. I was real excited about that for a while.
That's just the real key player that I want to talk about is Manny Machado. That dude puts up excellent numbers. He's just a force.
Well, and talking about like teams that need to make a splash at the deadline, even though it's not a good splash, at this point, Baltimore, I think they just need to abort on the season. They are so bad right now. Abort, get something for Manny Machado, trade off, get some farm league players, get a good starting pitcher, do something, but you got to get him out of there so you can kind of rebuild your team.
Manny Machado this season has 18 home runs, 53 RBIs, 4 stolen bases with a 310 batting average.
Yep.
So that's good numbers. I'm all for getting rid of Addison Russell.
Agreed.
Addison Russell's that issue he had off the field last season.
I think, about to say last season pretty much.
He hasn't been the same.
Yeah.
His head's not in it.
He made a stupid mistake last night too. He had an error against him. Javi's had some of those days as well, but Russell's just not performing at the plate.
Especially since that performance in the World Series, he played great.
Yes.
Right.
I mean,
he was one of the main guys to step up.
Absolutely.
So
and you expected that out of a young guy that stick around for the next 8-10 years, and now it's like we don't even want him anymore.
Right.
I say we. You know what I mean. As the Cubs, it's. Yeah, I would be looking to move him.
But
I'm sure some team would want him too, just for the potential.
I feel like the Orioles would take him.
I think
for the trade,
yeah, absolutely.
For the trade value. If we could get rid of Addison Russell, and possibly, I hate to say this because he's such a utility guy, Tommy La Stella, for Manny Machado to hopefully buy us a ring, because we can put Manny at short, or Manny can play second too, and we can keep Javi at short. But Javi has kind of fit in at that second base role. And we need to keep Javi there because that's where he performs the best.
Yep. But we could put Javi at short and move Happy to second.
Or Zoe. We still got Zoe for 2 years, I think, on his contract.
Yep. My favorite Cub, by the way.
Well, he's from Eureka, Illinois. Not a lot of people know that.
Absolutely.
So, an Illinois native playing for the Chicago Cubs with two World Series rings.
Two.
With KC and the Cubs.
Yep.
Played for Joe Madden too in Tampa.
Which is funny because I didn't like him when he played in Kansas City, but now that he's here, I'll look past that.
Real humble guy.
Absolutely,
he's just a genuine human being.
Absolutely,
for sure.
He's one of the guys that make the sport of baseball actually just baseball. Baseball's America's pastime. Obviously, it's my favorite sport. It always will be, especially when the Cubs are playing well. But I don't know. That's just about all the MLB stuff I have for today. We just got to watch that. I'm going to call it for this podcast the Manny Machado radar.
Yeah.
We got to figure out where he's going to go and if we can land him.
Well, one more thing that I'd like to touch on, just because I'm a Blue Jays fan, and the fact that we're pretty much out of it at this point, being 8 games behind second place. J.A. Happ, I know the Yankees and the Mariners are interested. I don't think that we'll trade him to a division rival, but Seattle definitely could use him.
J.A. Happ's never going to go to the Yankees.
Yeah, so if we
Seattle's
trade him to
hot.
Seattle, I mean, this guy's 8-3 as a starter already this year, and the Blue Jays are still under 500. So
Seattle could use that.
Seattle's
and it could boost them. It could put them to that next level.
If we can trade them for a couple young pieces moving forward, I think that we'd be in good shape, because I don't know how long Donaldson has. I don't know how long Tulowitzki has. We'll have to see. Kevin Pillar could still stick around for a few years. He's a great outfielder.
Yeah, he is.
But other than that, I mean, we've lost big bats. We've lost Encarnacion. We've lost Batista. So it's like I don't know what direction the team's going in right now.
That Batista trade, though, in my opinion, was not bad.
It wasn't terrible, but I feel like
he's getting old.
Yeah.
You got to think, all these guys can only play for so long.
Well, see,
before
that's
age
what I'm
starts
saying. Are we
creeping
hitting
up
the
on
reset button or not?
That's the question. Is
Right,
that
yeah,
you
exactly.
guys, your front office doesn't exactly know if you want to hit that reset button or if we're going to try to make what we have work or try to pick up somebody at the deadline.
Absolutely.
But J.A. Happ, being from Peru, Illinois, a lot of guys don't know that either. Being 35, he's not going to the Yankees. There's no way. They got Marashiro.
But I'm saying the
Tanaka.
Yankees have they have the pieces to be able to make the trade work and entice the Jays to take it. But I don't think that Toronto would send him to New York.
They're not going to purposely screw themselves.
No,
The season's
not.
upcoming.
No.
Absolutely not.
No, I swear he's going to fit better, or that trade will fit better for New York, but he's going to end up in Seattle. New York.
I think if you put Happ on Seattle, I mean, your chances of even going to the World Series automatically increase.
Yeah,
So
because
it's
then
like-
they got another top tier pitcher.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that J.A. Happ trade, that's going to be another one we can add to the radar because that's going to be kind of fun to see. But actually, let's talk about one more thing, just real quick. Let's just touch on it.
I had one thing I wanted to talk about.
Okay, go
too.
ahead.
I just want to say a couple pleasant surprises, a couple disappointments this year. How about Atlanta for a surprise? They were awful last year.
Aussie
First in-
Albies, Freddie Freeman.
First in their division this year, outstanding. Also, I like to see San Francisco back up in the running for the NL West. They're only 4.5 games back right now from Arizona. They're only like a game and a half behind Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers.
Yep.
So it's good to see them back up there,
which somebody take them down.
which they were last in their division last year too. So it's good to see San Francisco back up there. As far as disappointments go, Colorado, after getting second in their division last year, making the playoffs, last in their division or close to it, they're not very unastounding to say the least. They're disappointing for sure.
That's going to set up Nolan Arenado's future too.
And the New York Mets.
Yeah.
Such a good team for the last couple of years, played phenomenally, and they're just out of it this year.
Especially after trading for Batista, thinking that would be another piece to help them get that playoff push, and then it's just not really worked out for them.
I'm glad you brought up the Mets. Let's talk about Jake DeGrom.
Oh.
Jacob DeGrom. I feel I feel for the guy.
Yep.
He's an amazing pitcher, but like over his last 10 starts, this was like as of last week. I can't remember. I can't actually tell you the day because I can't remember. But as of last week, he was 2-8 with throwing 69 and 2/3 innings or something like that, and having phenomenal starts. So like an ERA, and I don't even think it was a 1. I think it was in the in the point 3.4 something like that. Averaging
He's
15 strikeouts, but he's 2-8.
Because he plays
He's
for a crapshoot team.
He's 2-8.
That's unfathomable.
Yep.
He let up 1 run in those 10 games. He got pulled. The bullpen came in and gave up 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
That's just unreal. I don't get it. I feel Jake DeGrom's got to go. He's got to get out of New York.
Out.
Him and Syndergaard both.
Yep.
Because they have two of
great pitchers.
Two of the best pitchers in MLB right now, along with Scherzer and Strasburg.
Yep.
Well, and they've got the next 6 weeks to look for a deal too.
Absolutely. But the problem is I don't think their contracts will allow them to look for a deal either.
Right.
Because I think they're locked.
They are.
I think they're both
If
locked.
they want out, the Mets will have to trade them.
Yeah, and they're not going to do
Yeah,
that.
They're not going to do that. But I mean, you would have to think in 6 weeks if they're that bad. I mean, and you can get something else for them.
Yep.
They may consider.
The Mets are going to want so much for Jacob DeGrom. Though.
Oh yeah.
But you have to think at a World Series contender, are you willing to give up a lot for that kind of?
It
pitching?
depends on what you're giving up.
Right.
Which is true, but I mean, if pitching is what you need, and you have a lot of, you have a good outfield, you have a spare infielder, an aging infielder that you can give up.
As the Cubs, I give a couple of our starters, and
who would you give up?
Chatwood.
For sure.
I know he's new. We just got him.
Signed him this offseason.
I'd give him Chatwood and Q. Quintana, just because I really like Quintana. I like having a big left-hander in the lineup. But they're going to want something. And I would give them Q and Quintana and Addison Russell if they really need something else, a spare infielder.
But if we pick up DeGrom, does that hurt our chances of getting Harper next year?
Takes on a big contract, cuts out some of that money.
That's a big issue because we got to remember 2022, Bryant's up, 2021, Rizzo's up.
Yep, got
Contreras
a lot of big
up,
contracts coming up in a
2023.
couple years.
We got a lot of money we're going to have to shell out.
The next 2
especially
to 3 years,
if we acquire Harper.
You're gonna have to start looking at the books and consider what you need to be doing.
Yeah.
So
and that's why all of these guys essentially are.
But
playing
I
for a
think
position.
DeGrom's only got 2 or 3 years left on his
Yeah.
contract, so it wouldn't be an extended period of time that we had to pay him.
DeGrom's only 29, which is
Yeah.
kind of still right in the middle
Still
of
in
the
his
career
prime.
for a pitcher.
Absolutely.
Because about 27 to probably 33 to 35 is
That's
the
when
optimal
your-
age.
It's when
for a
your arm
pitcher.
starts wearing down after that.
And you start getting Tommy Johns and
Yeah.
everything else. You lose velocity, but once you lose velocity, you can overcome that with working on your junk pitches, your curveballs, your sliders, your backdoor changeups. So,
Some of the nastiest pitches come in later in your career.
Yeah.
So it's
John Lester throws a mean slider, a mean backdoor slider. It's also because he's left-handed, so it's going to break a lot more. But
Right.
but he's also 34, so